But today's hearing is focused on the next frontier of tackling climate change, decarbonizing the industrial sector of our economy. And our hearing is timely, as well, as some of you may know. Yesterday, the Biden administration issued the fifth National Climate Assessment, which underscored the urgency of addressing climate change and the benefits of doing so. The report found that, adjusting for inflation in the 1980s, the United States experienced $1 billion disaster every 4 months on average. That's $1 billion disaster every 4 months on average. Today, there is one every 3 weeks. Every 3 weeks. The report also found that if we're going to limit the increases of global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius, which is our goal, our country must reach net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2050. So why should we focus on reducing industrial emissions? To answer that question, let me begin by sharing an age-old story of Willie Sutton. I've told this story once or twice in this room. Some of you may recall he was a notorious bank robber during the Great Depression and robbed a lot of banks, finally got caught, and ended up in front of the judge. And the judge said to him, Mr. Sutton, why do you rob banks? And he said, Your Honor, that's where the money is. And I think that's a story that's actually worth retelling today. But and that the Willie Sutton's logic actually can apply here for us as well. Heavy industry makes products that are central to our lives, including steel, cement, and aluminum. And at the same time, the industrial sector is responsible for nearly 1/3 of global greenhouse gas emissions and represents the third largest source of U.S. emissions, trailing only the transportation and power sectors. By 2030, the industrial sector is expected to become the largest source of domestic greenhouse gas emissions. I'll just say that again. By 2030, 7 years from now, the industrial sector is expected to become the largest source of domestic greenhouse gas emissions. As many of us know, there are real challenges when it comes to decarbonizing the industrial sector. For example, because of the diverse industrial processes we use to make a variety of goods and materials, there isn't a simple one-size-fits-all approach. Instead, we must deploy a variety of different technologies and process changes. Yet, within these challenges also lies real opportunities. In addition to helping us meet our climate goals, reducing industrial emissions presents great opportunities for us to invest in. And making investments in, among other things, American industry in order to boost our nation's economic competitiveness. The benefits of decarbonizing key industrial materials goes beyond simply mitigating emissions at individual facilities. By producing materials in cleaner ways, we can reduce emissions throughout our supply chain too. And by investing in the industries that are producing lower carbon materials for our buildings, our roads, our electric vehicles, we can help support our clean energy transition. Fortunately, when it comes to decarbonizing the industrial sector of our economy, we're already making progress. And that's thanks in no small part to the investments that Congress made in the bipartisan infrastructure law and in the Inflation Reduction Act. Measures that were written in no small part right here in this room. For example, our bipartisan infrastructure law established the new Office of Clean Energy Demonstrations at the Department of Energy, which included the new Industrial Demonstrations Program. And last Congress, the Congress provided $6.3 billion in funding to this program to help deploy technologies to reduce industrial emissions. Bipartisan infrastructure law also included $8 billion for the development of regional clean hydrogen hubs throughout our country. I was especially pleased that the Department of Energy awarded funding to the Mid-Atlantic Clean Hydrogen Hub projects, which include parts of Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey. Our hub was one of 7 clean hydrogen hubs, including the Appalachian Hydrogen Hub, which is included in states of West Virginia, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. These clean hydrogen hubs will provide a reliable supply of clean hydrogen for transportation, for industrial processes, and power generations across our nation. And they will create tens of thousands of good-paying jobs in our regions. Let me repeat that. and they will create tens of thousands of good-paying jobs in our regions across the country. As the largest purchaser of materials in the world, the federal government also has a great opportunity to foster demand for low embodied carbon materials through federal procurement. We can, and we are. In our committee's title of the Inflation Reduction Act, we provided over $5 billion for the Federal Highway Administration and GSA, General Services Administration, to buy materials such as concrete and steel for buildings, for roads, for bridges made with low carbon emissions. We can also include funding for the EPA to help us better understand the life cycle greenhouse gas emissions of various construction materials and products. Supporting America's ingenuity and innovation and innovators is key to creating cleaner goods here at home, and we will hear about that today from our witnesses. In closing, the United States can continue to manufacture steel, continue to manufacture aluminum, concrete, and other materials while reducing greenhouse gas emissions. And by doing so, we can make American industries more competitive on the global stage while addressing climate pollution and creating a lot of good-paying jobs. To do this, we need collaboration across sectors and stakeholders, industry leaders, innovative startups, government agencies, environmental organizations, and academia must all work together. And so must we. And I think we do that pretty well here. My hope is that today's hearing will help us further our committee's understanding of some of the challenges and opportunities associated with decarbonizing heavy industry. And we look forward to hearing from our panel of knowledgeable witnesses and to having a productive and spirited discussion today.